The example is very simple. Sort 3 elements. We know we can use 3 comparisons to sort any 3 elements for the worst case. Yeah, that's so simple. Here, let's draw a decision tree for that simple case. All right, simple example. All right. Given A, B, C. So arbitrary 3 values. We can compare them, bigger, smaller. Yeah. Let's do our first comparison. We pick arbitrary 2 elements, A and B. Let's do comparison. 2 decisions, right? So based on our analysis of the previous part, B.2, 2 decisions, less than or equal and greater than. Okay, so we go to 2 different branches. Yeah. Now, when we're going down, we already have this A less than or equal to B information. Now let's do another comparison, B and C comparison. Okay. Then another 2 decisions, B less than or equal to C, 1 decision, and B greater than C, another. All right, so let's look at the first case. In this case, do we get enough information to get the whole array sorted? As A less than or equal to B, B less than or equal to C, we already get the whole array sorted. So we are ready to output the result. The result is A less than or equal to B and less than or equal to C. So we use this rectangular box to represent sorting result. And it is a leaf. So the internal node and the leaf, we use different shapes. So so their situations are different. All right. Then for the other branch, B greater than C, so B greater or equal to A, still we do not have enough information to sort the whole array. So we need to compare A and C. A and C. So we need another internal node, A and C comparison. Okay, so 2 outcomes, A less than or equal to C and A greater than C. Now we are ready to output the sorting result. For the first one, A less than or equal to C and less than B. That's the result. The second one, C less than A less than or equal to B. See? Yeah. Yeah. Similarly, for the other half, we can do it quickly. Okay? Compare A and C second time. 2 outcomes, A less than or equal to C, A greater than C. All right, so for the left branch, another where we have enough information, right? So B less than A first. Then A less than or equal to C. Okay. Then that one compare B and C, 2 outcomes, and we can write the sorting results immediately. So now you can see this is the whole decision tree for a sort that sorts 3-element array. Okay, yeah, like this. So you can see the best case, worst case. The best case, this is the best case. Okay, this is another best case. The worst case, you have one worst case here, one worst case here, one worst case, another worst case. So you have 4 worst cases and 2 best cases. Then you can take average case, right? Average case. Yeah. All right. Height. What is the meaning of the height of a tree? We want to look at that information. Yeah, the height. This is the height. Okay. What is the definition of the height of a tree? From the root to a leaf, to the leave with the longest path. So not the shortest, not any other non-longest path, the longest path. Then we count the number of edges in that longest path, 1, 2, 3. So the height equals 3. That's the definition of the height. Okay. Here you can see what is the meaning of the height of a decision tree. The worst case efficiency. So the height of a comparison sort, decision tree for a comparison sort, it corresponds to the worst case efficiency. Okay? Yeah. All right, so let's try to understand the properties of decision trees, because we want to apply this idea to more general problems, not on special problem, sorting 3-element array. We want to apply the decision tree idea on sorting n-element array, a very general one. In order to do that, we need to know main properties of decision trees. A decision tree is a full binary tree that represents comparisons between elements that are performed by a particular algorithm on an input. So here you can see we emphasize the operation comparisons. Okay? And also here from this sentence, we do not mention sort, right? So we only mention comparison-based algorithm. Not necessarily sort. It could be more general than sort. Okay? Yeah. So the decision trees can be applied on search algorithms, sort algorithms, selection algorithms, etc. Yeah. If it's a comparison-based algorithm, then we can apply the decision tree method on it to do analysis. So this is the first important property we need to know. Okay. Second, any comparison-based algorithm with 2 outcomes for each comparison has a decision tree representation. Yep. So that's just a direct result from the first one. Yeah. So we can draw decision tree. So it is a very general. Okay. Yeah. Decision comparison-based algorithm. So it's a very general method. Right. We can use the decision trees to study comparison-based algorithms, including those unknown. This is important. Unknown algorithms. There are many unknown algorithms. The known algorithms only a very small portion. So people know those algorithms. Unknown, huge, big part. Yeah. But if some algorithm is unknown, can we study it? We can study. We can still study unknown algorithms. We use common properties of all unknown algorithms to study those unknown algorithms. We did that before. Remember, in our lecture 1, number 1, when we study the optimality of finding the minimum of an array, when we study that, we use some special method to describe unknown algorithms. We find a common property. So we can study unknown algorithms using common properties. Here, the same thing. We will use the decision tree, because decision tree, that will give us common properties of many unknown algorithms. Okay? So we can study those unknown. Yeah. So that's the power of decision tree method. Very powerful. Okay. All right. Next, we want to see the general decision trees for sorts. We want to study the general decision tree for all comparison sorts. Yeah. actually comparison sorts here. Okay, so I didn't write the complete phrase comparison, because for the counting sort we cannot use this kind of decision trees to describe counting sort, because it is not a comparison sort by counting. So we do not do comparison. We do not do order-based comparison. Okay, we do matching-based comparison. That's slightly different. We do matching-based comparison. We do not do sorting-based comparison. Order-based comparison. Here, the comparison sort, here we mean order-based comparison. Okay, yeah, so that's different. All right. Draw a decision tree that can represent any sorting algorithm. Can we do that? Can we draw a decision tree, general decision tree that can represent any comparison sort? Let's try. Yeah, very general. First, let's compare two elements in the array, xi and xj. So there are two outcomes. First one, xi less than or equal to xj. Second, xi greater than xj. Okay? Then we can go down to do comparison for two other elements. Then each one we can get two outcomes and so on. So we can, because we can go down, eventually we get outcome. So this dot 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 line represent a long path. Okay, so this long path containing many comparisons. So many comparisons. Okay, eventually we will get to the leaf. So we get enough information to sort the whole array. So this is a typical general decision tree for a general comparison sort. So now let us study the property of this decision tree. Okay. All right. So each oval node, the node in oval shape, represent a comparison. Okay. Yeah. Each rectangular node, that is an ordering output. So we get an ordering result, output. So, yeah. And the data input size given n. Yeah. Assume there are n elements in the array. Okay, yeah. And all right. So now, for one input, suppose we have an algorithm, this decision tree. Yeah. Then, when we are given one input, that input corresponds to one path from root to a leaf. Okay? So one input corresponds to one path from a root to a leaf. Then we can count, how many edges in that path as the number of comparisons for that particular input. Okay? So that is our general understanding of comparison sort general procedure. Okay. All right. Then, what is an ordering output? How do we understand this ordering output? Basically, it is a permutation of the input. The input, we are given a set of n numbers, a sequence of n numbers. So there is a, order for the locations of those n numbers. Then, the sorting result, we arrange those n numbers. Rearrange here meaning we change the locations of those numbers. So after the change, basically we get a permutation of the original and different numbers. So this permutation observation also very important. So this is an abstraction we need to take. Abstraction, as I mentioned before, abstraction is very important in problem solving. Okay? Sometimes we need to take abstraction so we can apply some tool based on that abstraction. So here we also need to do that. Yeah. Next, relationship between input and output. Yeah. Now we need to study that relationship in order to extract some valuable information. All right, so our input, n elements. So the n elements arranged in this way, x1, x2 through xn. So we can simply use, simple notation to represent. Now, after the sorting, we get an ordering of the input. We just rearrange, in a different way. So a special ordering of the input. Yeah. And it is a permutation of the given n numbers. Yeah. If we just use natural order, if we just, the subscripts, let's just simplify it using the subscripts to represent the original order of the data. Okay? After the sorting, we will get a permutation. So here, permutation, we use one Greek letter pi. So this pi is different from the, rate of the circle, circumference over diameter, right? Yeah. Different from that. The pi represent permutation. Yeah. In this way, pi of 1, pi of 2, pi of n. Okay, just a mapping. Yeah. So permutation is 1 you map to pi of 1, 2 you map to pi of 2, and so on. Okay. Yeah. So you get a special mapping. So that mapping corresponds to one permutation. Okay. Yeah. All right. So based on that abstraction, so our conclusion is, what is our, we need to get some conclusion using permutations to describe outputs. Can we use permutations to describe outputs? Right? If you do not do this abstraction, if you just want to look at output directly, you may not see some important information, right? But if we use this permutation view, we can find some very important information. Okay? So this view can reveal some important property. So that's why we take this view. Okay? All right. So next, we want to apply this view to get some valuable information. Okay? So we will do that in part B.4.